Liebe Freunde, willkommen zurück bei Voxel und auch zurück zum zweiten Video von Unity of Command 2 in einer kleinen Vorschau, denn das Spiel kommt noch in diesem Jahr raus, 2019, im Herbst soll es soweit sein, wann genau kann ich nicht sagen, hatte mich noch ein bisschen mit den Entwicklern unterhalten, es ist noch laut deren Aussagen in keiner offiziellen spielbaren Version, ja, und eigentlich sollte im September auch schon eine Beta starten, weiß ich nicht genau, ob das so alles klappt. Wenn ich reinkomme oder wenn ich auch darüber erzählen darf, dann natürlich mehr Infos dazu. Was ich jetzt hier zeige, ist das zweite Video von dem Entwickler Livestream vom Freitag, den 13., also für euch ganz, ganz frisches Material. Was wir jetzt hier sehen in diesem Video ist ein kleiner Rücksprung zum Start der Kampagne von Unity of Command 2. Und diese Kampagne startet hier mit der Schlacht um Wadi Akarit. Das ist quasi die vorletzte Schlacht des Tunesienfeldzugs. So war es ja auch tatsächlich. Und in Tunis selber haben die Deutschen dann kapituliert mit ca. 250.000 Soldaten. Und das beendete dann eben den Tunesienfeldzug. Und dann kommt man nämlich im Spiel zum dritten Szenario, was dann die Invasion oder die Landung vielmehr in Sizilien war und damit der Auftakt des Italienfeldzugs sozusagen. Und das habt ihr ja als Video im letzten Video gesehen und jetzt hier eben nochmal aufgrund ein paar technischer Probleme der Entwickler im Livestream zurück zum Anfang der Kampagne und zur Schlacht von Wadi Akarit. Hier geht es nicht nur zu sehen die Schlacht selber und die Spielmechaniken, sondern eben auch die Vorbereitung, und zwar ein paar Upgrades, dieses Kartensystem, was jetzt im Spiel mit drin ist, und das seht ihr dann gleich. Also, ich lasse euch wieder alleine mit dem Video, genießt es und mein Gequatsche hört jetzt gleich auf. Also, viel Spaß mit Unity of Command 2 und der Mission 1, Wadi Akarit.
Hello everyone. Hi everybody. Welcome to the stream of Unity of Command 2. This is Daniel Melvin speaking. I work as a scenario designer, a historical researcher, and a ton of other crap on the game. And I'm here with Mr.
Hi everybody, my name is Ante. I'm the marketing person and the janitor.
You're doing a lousy job.
Which part?
Well, let's not talk about that.
Right.
Let's get that. Let's get into the game.
Right.
We have started up a new campaign. The campaign UI and interface is still, it's a work in progress, but it's closing in on how it's going to look. And we're basically going to play the first 3 scenarios of the campaign. Take a peek at the 4th one, but yeah, after that we'll see what we do. Maybe a standalone scenario. Yeah.
So let me get this straight. This is exactly the same thing we are showing at Tokyo Game Show, right?
Yes, exactly. This is for the people who aren't there.
Like us.
Like
we're not there.
Yeah.
But our envoy is, and he just safely landed in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And if you are staying home, this is exactly the same thing that we are showing over there, except maybe even better because you don't have to play. We'll play it for you.
Exactly.
I mean, you are going to.
I'm going to play. I'm going to play.
Okay.
And we'll see how I do this time in playing and speaking at the same time. Apparently, it's more of a challenge than I thought. Anyway, let's start the campaign. In this game, you play as the Allies in World War II, and the campaign starts sort of at the end of the war in North Africa, or the campaign there. For those of you who know history, right after the time the Allies or the Commonwealth broke through the German lines at Mareth, and they reached the next German defensive line, which was a wadi, which is like a dried out river called Wadi Akarit.
Is there a special reason we are starting the game at this point in time?
It just seemed like the most natural jump-off point, really. If we start earlier, then we need to start modeling the Desert War in detail as well, which we'll do at a later stage, but since we're going all the way to 1945 in Berlin, the end of the war, it's a pretty big scope already, and this is where we chose to cut it, basically.
All right.
And it's where the Americans enter the war as well. It sort of really changes here. It's a turning point of the war. The Germans have just lost at Stalingrad. They lost at El Alamein and got kicked all the way almost out of Africa. They still have this piece of land in Tunisia, which they reinforced heavily. So we get some interesting battles there.
Oh well, let's see them. People have been staring at the
Yes.
screen for some time.
Yeah, this is not the most interesting thing to watch. I'm going to do some things that I won't explain in detail because
So we are not starting yet.
we're starting sort of. Right
Kind
now
of,
I'm
alright.
upgrading our headquarters.
Do your thing.
And I'm going,
What was that?
That was my headquarters upgrades. Now I'm going into a different thing, but after this I will explain the upgrades. So here we have two headquarters in this scenario, the US 2nd Corps and the British 8th Army. I won't go into detail about all the icons and upgrades here, but basically you can upgrade your headquarters with different abilities and give them more command points so they can use them more often and tons of other stuff. But let's get into the game, not too much about that.
Right.
If you have-
We'll come to this later.
Exactly, we'll come to it later. And also, if you have any questions that we don't answer here on the stream, just write on our forums or on the Steam forums, and we'll answer them there very quickly, right?
Almost immediately.
Exactly. Okay. So, So, as I spoke about before, first scenario, Wadia Karit, let's get into it. I love loading screens. And at the beginning of a scenario, you get a little historical context and a briefing and, relevant information. Anyway, so here's the setup for, let me just turn off the red labels, the setup for the first scenario. Basically, we have down here the British 8th Army, and all along this front here we have the British 1st Army and US 2nd Corps. And what the Allies are trying to do at this point is they are trying to break through. There are some mountain passes here in Tunisia. Here, here, here.
Can you zoom in a bit?
Yes. There we go. And these passes, they are basically trying to break through them and go to the coast as fast as they can to cut off the supply lines of the bulk of the Axis forces, which are down here. And my plan right now is to actually be a bit sneaky and break through here and cut them off up here at the edge of this. This is called the Dorsal Ranges. There are sort of mountainous terrain in Tunisia which is kind of impassable for tanks, trucks, and such.
Right, but we do have our objectives on the right side of the screen.
Yeah, there is.
And we have two of them as victory conditions.
We have two primary objectives here in Sfax and up here in Enfidaville. These we need to take before turn 6 to not lose the scenario. Then we also have these 4 bonus objectives, which are more harshly timed. It's kind of almost impossible to take them all, but you can get a few of them and then you get rewards for them. But you don't have to take them to win.
All right.
Yeah, let's get into it. So I am going to start down here with the British 8th Army. Let's just end the deployment phase. There is a deployment phase, but to avoid information overload, we're not going to go too much into that. Let's see, we're going to start with our Indian troops. And here I'm going to show actually what's called, we have you can make special attacks. And what I'm going to do here is a set piece attack. And I'll explain it later. Basically, it's good against fortified positions. And these guys were fortified, and we pushed them back. Let's see. So while I'm doing this, you can talk, because we learned last time that I'm not very good at talking and playing at the same time.
Oh, I'm not talking either. I'm just watching the master at work.
Okay, so we broke through their lines and cut off the. This was the Africa Corps in this position actually, and they are now cut off from supply. If we go into, we have supply views. We have our own supply view here, and we also have the enemy supply view. And since we cut off their lines here, now we can see everything is out of supply here. which for them is a bit of a disaster. But for us, it's really good.
So it's almost as it was in the original Unity of Command,
Yes, it is.
where supply played a major role.
Supply plays a really big role here. I mean, you can win by just pounding through the enemy, but the most effective way is to cut off people's supply, surround units, and weaken that down.
Like you
weaken them.
did, like you did now.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's see. And we also have our 2 bonus objectives here, and I'm going to try to get both of them. But this unit, this would not end well for me. Here, and we're going to do tanks, and down here I can show another headquarters ability. Usually you can move, what do you call it? You have 3 movement points per unit, and you can use extended move, which uses your action point for 1 more. But now you can also use the headquarters down here to motorize them to go east. And this is an ability for the allied units to simulate their greater degree of motorization. And down here in the south, we're just going to leave a blocking unit because they don't really have anywhere to go here, so we're not scared about them down here. We're just going to leave this one guy and move everything else up here to our 2 bonus objectives. Further in the north, we have the British First Army. And let's see what we can do here. Here I'm going to use something called saturation fire, which is basically lots of artillery. And my RNG always sucks. Okay, that did nothing. Yeah, well,
We'll get them next time.
We'll get them next time. I still have a very strong tank division here, so we're just gonna smash into them. They didn't retreat. That's a bit annoying. This could pose a problem. We'll see. Okay, let's see. And up here, we have an Italian that's fortified. Basically, there are 2 levels of dug in. You can see here, these guys here in the mountain range here, they're dug in. They have the little sort of shovel symbol. And these guys up here have this black sort of brick thing. That means they're 2 levels of dug in, which means, as we can see here, it's basically suicide to attack them. So instead, we're going to use the set piece attack again, which is very good against fortified units. It usually lowers their level of fortification, and you don't lose any dudes. We're having a bit of lag with the recording software here, but yeah. Okay, so that pushed them out of the way. That was actually really good RNG. Anyway, let's see. But when you use set piece attacks, your units get stuck in place. It's sort of a breakthrough tool, but
But it basically ends my move.
It does.
So to speak.
It does. So the guys pushed back. I think we're about done for turn 1, which has been a good turn. Yeah. Ooh, we have an airstrike. I forgot about our airstrikes. Up here in the corner, we have our theater assets. There are a lot of different ones. Here we only have 2, aerial recon and air attack. And since we forgot to use it, let's just find the most powerful enemy unit and see if we can damage them. Who is this? 21st Panzer Division. It's an elite armored German armored unit, which would be a good idea to try and weaken. So let's... that's okay. That was an okay roll. Okay, and I think we are about done. Anything you want to add?
Oh, no. Just,
We'll just go.
end your turn.
Let's see what the AI does. I can have a drink. So, okay. Let's see. Okay, he decided to just form a front line here, but he didn't try to break out, which is lucky for us. Let's see. Okay, we have to take, to get the maximum amount of prestige, we have to take Svax up here by turn 3, and we're already at turn 2, so we need to get rolling in that direction. And these guys are now not a threat anymore, because, yeah, they're cut off from supply, so once they've been cut off from supply 2 turns, they can't attack anymore.
So how do you know they have been cut off?
We saw that last turn. If we go to the enemy supply view, they are cut off. There are these little red exclamation marks, which means they've been out of supply for 1 turn. If you go to 2 turns, it turns into a very glowing exclamation mark, and 3 turns to a black one. And at that point, the units start falling apart by themselves.
But they are still operational.
They are still operational right now. It takes.
They are dangerous.
No, they're not. Offensively, they're not dangerous anymore because
Of the red mark.
Yeah, next turn they can't attack anymore. They had their chance this turn, but they didn't take it. And we also have one unit out of supply here. And here's a new feature in the game compared to the original, which is again an headquarters ability, which is called emergency supply. Yeah, our tooltips haven't been done yet. We're still in alpha. Anyway, you just press that little sucker and poof, he is now supplied. But it does cost command points, and you don't have an infinite amount of those, so it's not something you can do to all your units. Okay, let's get rolling towards Sfax. Let's see, which would be the best way to go. I'm just going to turn on hexes for a little bit. Let's try to screw up this guy here. That's annoying. Okay, right. Stubborn, very stubborn. Oof. I don't want to use this guy, but I might have to. Yeah.
We still have some air power.
I still have some air power, but I really want to use it for this guy up here.
Ah, right.
But this could mean that we... Oh, I might have... Let's see. Another new feature, stragglers. When you kill enemy steps, the strength of them, we call these little dots, that's the strength of the units, we call them steps. Every time you kill an enemy step, there is a relatively high chance that it turns into a straggler. And that's the icon you see here and here.
Can we zoom in?
We can zoom in. We can also rotate. Let's see. Okay. If you have one, and you run over it, you take them prisoner. Take enough prisoners, it'll start showing you stuff in the fog of war. Once you get up to 3, then they start impeding your movement. So it costs, I think it's 3 movement points to run over them and take them prisoner in general. It's sort of to simulate how if you're killing a lot of enemy formations or losing your own stragglers also block you. So if there's a lot of combat going on, a lot of casualties, it turns into this sort of chaos of war where you just, it gets tricky to operate for units in areas that are full of basically disorganized troops. So that, since we have, oh boy, we have a swamp here and 3 stragglers here, so we can't really get rolling towards Sfax, which was the plan. But, if we get there a turn late, it's not the end of the world, just a bit less prestige. Okay, and let's make sure we keep this front covered so there is no escape for our dear enemies.
Can we advance along the coastline?
We could have if... Ooh, that's actually a good point. We might still be able to. If we use our artillery to get these guys weakened and our armored brigade. Yes, see. Although we don't have anything to... Last turn we forgot to check our supply for these breakthroughs. So that's okay, this guy might move here, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, so these guys are out of supply. So let's add a supply hub. The way, this might be a good time to talk about the supply. The way the supply system works, if you have your sources at the edge of the map, see here, and where else do we have one? Up here. And the rail lines that extend from those sources, they bring your supplies forward endlessly. But supply only emanates 1 hex from these rails. So once you start leaving the rail lines, like here, then you're done. The supply doesn't emanate that far. So then you need to place supply hubs, which essentially they spread supply. It's easy to show if you just place one. Here. So now I placed one, and the green outline shows you how far that supply hub spreads your supply. And you can add up to 5, and each one you place means it spreads further. Right now, though, I only have 1 available, and it doesn't... Okay, these guys...
So how does that work? Do I earn more of supply hubs?
No, every scenario has a set amount.
Predefined
set amount. You can, in the campaign, obtain some extra ones through cards. But actually, we have one. I'll try it now. In the campaign, we also have cards, and one of these, this one, will give me an extra supply truck.
Really?
Yes. Right. So we go here. You can also use it to motorize your armies, but now we're going to use it to get an extra supply truck. There we go. And now up here, instead of 1, we now have 2. And this means we can get supplies to these guys. So let's do that. There we go. Boop. And lo and behold, now they're in supply. Okay, so they're good. And this guy, he is still just blocking here. He can move 1 step. And now we owe this guy. He's the one. This is an objective, a turn 2 objective. So we have to get this going. And we need to.
So that's a unit that's very valuable.
It's only dug in once, so it's not unrealistic to harm it with an airstrike. And we did suppress 1 step, so this could get bloody. Let's just do it anyway. Really? I don't care. We will get this. There we go. And we got our prestige. You would also, this is a card objective, which means if you take this, you should get a sometimes random, sometimes set card as a reward. We didn't get one because we haven't implemented that system yet, but I think it's something they're working on right now, actually. Anyway, we still got our prestige, so hopefully it was worth it, although we did bloody our divisions a little bit in doing it. And the Italian First Army has placed its headquarters here. Good idea. We'll just eat that and secure the objective. And that's it for these guys. Let's head north.
Could we advance with that tank even further?
We could advance further, but then we have to leave the objective, and then the AI would definitely take it back, and we would lose our prestige. So we're going to leave him here. Plus, he's relatively weak. He only has 2 steps. I don't want to send him on an adventure out here where we don't know what's going on.
But we can recon still. We have.
Oh yeah, we have the aerial recon. Let's actually have a look. Because
let's scout ahead.
Let's see. What our aerial recon does is, well, you'll see it now. It doesn't lift the fog of war. It just shows you if there's a unit there.
So is there anybody there?
There is nothing here. It's all green. And since I'm the scenario designer, I know there's one over here. So I'm just going to throw one here to show how it looks. There we go. So now we know there's an infantry unit here. It's a weak one, that's the minus, and it's German. And if it had been a tank, let's say, then there would have been a little tank here. And if it wasn't weak, without the minus. So it gives you sort of, aerial recon gives you an idea of what's going on, but it doesn't lift the fog of war.
I still want to push through with that tank.
You still want to go through with this tank?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. You sure? Okay. Oh boy. It's like he might actually not take it because he still needs to get through this area with a Zoc and then.
Well, let him take it. Take it back.
Yeah, he's gonna overextend himself. So, yeah. Okay. In the north, where I failed miserably last turn. Let's just go for this guy here. Screw him. This is our objective, so we don't really have to take this part, although it is the supply line. Oh, more prestige, sweet music. Yeah, we're gonna leave this guy for now. Advance slowly. Yeah, we don't have that many units up here, and they have a lot. They're not very strong units they have, but they're in good positions, and we don't want to overextend, so we're just going to leave it at that. And down here, we need to remember to remove our supply. We also had 2 supply hubs down here. I just removed them. Next turn, I'll be able to place them somewhere else on the map, because right now we don't need them down here. We just placed the 2 over here, so we're still relatively well in supply. Our little move out here will, yeah, these guys are out of supply, but it'll be okay. It's only 2 units. Yeah, I think that's about it for our turn. Let's see what the AI gets up to, and I'll have a drink. It seems we left the hole up here. Or I did, because I was so focused on taking this objective that they actually... But luckily, he couldn't reach our supply hub here. If the AI, or yourself as a player, if the enemy runs over a supply hub, then you don't lose those trucks, but they go into your sort of into your truck reserve. But they have I think it's a 3-turn delay, so it's 3 turns before you can use them again.
But he doesn't capture them, and
he doesn't capture them and take them. We are currently actually discussing whether or not taking one of these supply hubs should supply your units. So let's say you have a unit that's out of supply. It's like deep into enemy lines.
Right.
You run over a supply hub, and then that supplies the unit. It's
like automatically, or
yeah,
you are just able to
supply
him
by, like eats.
By hand.
So if it was out of supply, it'll supply itself by running over an enemy supply hub. But that's, yeah, it's currently being discussed, so we'll see what the final decision then ends up being. Okay, so we're at turn 3, so if we want the full prestige reward for Svax, we need to take it this turn. And let's see if it's still only a week infantry. We might actually be able to take it with this guy. Haha. What is this? Küstenabschnitt Svax. Yeah. Green single step. Not a big challenge for armored division, even if it is a weak armored division. Actually still have the movement points to take it. We're gonna want something stronger. Sure. That nobody kicks us out. So, do I actually have you to thank for us taking this on time? I think so.
Yeah, I'll take credit for that, and you take the blame for this guy.
Yeah,
up there.
Yeah, exactly this guy. But this guy we just
behind our lines, wreaking havoc.
Yeah, he didn't get there. He was close but no cigar. There are no rewards for second. Let's just bomb him and use. Ooh. Okay, we are gonna. Okay, I have a plan. We're gonna saturate. We're gonna use saturation fire on this guy here, and then we're gonna kill him with this guy, and then we're gonna use our tank to drive around. And oh yes.
Oh, so the tank is blocked right now?
Yeah, it's blocked right now. Can't get there. 70% retreat chance. I know my RNG.
And if
I know my RNG. This
so if he retreats, he will still block us.
There we go. I'm in this guy. And now I can reach this guy here. Take these guys prisoner, kill him. I'm a tactical genius. Let's see. Yeah, so that doesn't happen again, and we'll clear out this next turn. Although, since we used the tank for this, we can't use it to take Kairan, which was a turn 3 bonus objective. Well,
it's actually says turn 4.
Oh, it's turn 4.
So we still have time.
We still have time. We'll get it next turn. Okay. These guys up here can just sort of crawl through slowly but surely. And down here we have some cleaning up to do. I feel like I'm cleaning up. This is very satisfying. Destroying surrounded out of supply units. It's it's very cathartic.
It's also what Unity of Command is about.
It's what it's all about, basically. It is cutting the enemy off from his
circle
supply,
and
weakening him in that way,
destroying.
and then finishing him off, taking our objectives, moving on. So, let's go running. We have one aerial recon left. So we're gonna screw up his... prisoners just keep rolling, as Limp Bizkit would say. I just gave away my age. Yeah, these guys can wait here. They have fun in the desert hills. Okay, supply. We need some supply over here, so we're going to place there. They're in supply now. We need more supplies. So we also need to move this headquarters down here. British 8th Army.
Is there a reason why we are moving this?
Yes, there. As you can see here, the white outline. Every headquarters has a command radius. If you leave that radius, your unit still functions normally, but then you can't deploy reinforcements to them, you can't perform special actions, so you can't give them emergency supply or make a special attack. And in general, it's just a good idea to keep your units within range of their headquarters as far as it's possible.
But this is a new mechanic.
This is a completely new mechanic. Headquarters weren't present in the first game.
So now we have supply range, and we also have
headquarters range. Yes, it's been a big challenge to make it easily readable, but we think we've succeeded. But that was a big challenge. But it is for us. Yeah, it's really fun and easy to read once you know what you're doing, which does take. I mean, it does take a bit of time to learn the game, but it's not as bad as other games, in my opinion.
So, say, what happens if I don't move it this turn?
If you don't move it this turn, well, nothing happens, except you can see these, you have the white outline, which is your command radius, and then you can see which units are under this HQ's command. They get a little white circle under them. And this guy up here, he has a red circle, because he is part of the British 8th Army, but he's out of its command range. So if next turn he doesn't have any supply, let's see, he's out of supply, and next turn I would like to give him some emergency supply maybe, but since he's out of command range, I can't do that.
Right.
So that would be an example of why it's good to keep your units within supply range. So let's move
It's a good idea to move it then.
Yeah. Let's move him up here, and boom, there we go. Now he's in range. But we're going to place some supply anyway. And we're going to put it, let me just see, we're going to put it here. Let's give them 2, so they have a bit of leeway. Here we go. Did I forget anything? No. Oh, good now. Yeah. We're good. Let's go to the alley. Have another drink. Damn it. Not it. Pour me a drink.
Yeah, I will. You'll need it.
Ante has a very special drink here.
Yeah. This is my third job.
Yeah?
I'm also a bartender, besides a marketing person and janitor.
I like you best as a bartender, I must admit. Thank you very much, good sir. And let's see what's going on now. Okay. I didn't actually look at the AI making its moves.
Let's see how you dig yourself up from that hole.
Oh boy, yeah. Well, good news and bad news. Good news, these guys down here, they have now been out of supply for 3 turns, so they are almost useless. We can just mop them up now. We have a bit of lag because of our recording software, which is why you might see some jumps sometimes. But
Right, blame it on the recording software.
yeah, because the game is perfectly smooth when you play.
Of course.
Let's see.
It's perfect in every sense.
In every sense. Oh, and here we get another thing. So while you're playing, every time a unit gains experience, it also gains experience for its own headquarters. And there are basically your headquarters level up like this. And once you hit the target threshold, then you get this little upgrade menu. And here we have 3 free choices. You always have the choice of either upping your command points, which is let's call it currency you use for performing actions with your headquarters, or you can specialize some of the actions the headquarters already has available. Which ones you can upgrade here, that's sort of picked by the game at random, so you never know what you're going to get, and it sort of adds a lot of variation to the gameplay. Here we can choose to specialize bridge demolition, so blowing up bridges. We can make that cheaper in terms of command points. It's going to cost us 20 prestige, or we can upgrade our saturation fire, which is a special artillery attack, and that's free. So this is actually a bit of a no-brainer, because saturation fire is very useful, and we get it for free. So we're going to take.
So this is an upgrade for just for the unit.
For the headquarters over here. This was the US 2nd Corps over here. So now if we go down here to saturation fire, there's now a little 1. It used to cost 2, now it only costs 1.
So it's cheaper to use. It's
cheaper
not
to
more
use.
powerful.
No,
or anything.
no. It's just cheaper to use. But that can have a huge impact, because now we have over here, we see the command points. We have 4. Before it cost 2, so we could do it twice every turn. Now it costs 1, so we could do it 4 times in a turn. It's actually a really powerful upgrade. It might be a bit too powerful to look into the balance tomorrow. But yeah, let's just take some action and mop up down here. Oh, that's annoying. No, please don't. Prisoner, and then we're only this guy. And basically we have to move up the south now. And now this annoying, I can't use the word I want to use. He needs to go away, let's say. Ooh, there's a bug there. Oh.
I haven't seen anything.
No, nobody's.
The game is still perfect.
Exactly. I don't know why we just don't release it right now.
Oh, we could.
We could. We just don't feel like it. Let's see. More mopping up. Basically, we have broken the enemy in this. It's a mopping up operation now. Which incidentally I find almost more fun than heavy combat. Just clearing out the enemy and sweeping across the map. Let's see. This guy, and then we can move. Okay, so we want to take this bit here. I can't get through because there's this guy in the mountains. He's exerting a zone of control here.
So how do you know
that this guy is
exerting his zone of control?
Well, in the beginning, just when you learn the game, we have a map mode for it there. Here we can see where the enemy exerts zones of control. Once you've played the game for a while, you know that if there's an enemy unit and he has 3 steps or more, then he exerts zones of control on all his neighboring friendly hexes. It sounds complicated when you say it, but it's a very simple, intuitive system once you play it, and it's pretty normal.
And especially if you play turn-based strategy games.
Exactly,
games,
it's
like
most games.
But let's say I don't play them.
Yeah, so then you need to learn it.
It's an aura.
It's an aura. That would be a good generalized sort of. If you're a non-wargamer, that would be a good way to explain it.
If you say so.
Yeah, I think so at least. Okay, we could do something kind of silly now. Let's do that. Okay. But then I need to guard my objective here. But this means these guys could go in and screw up my supply. But I will blow up the bridge, and now they can't. I actually need to... Okay, they might go down here. It's fine. We have lots of reinforcements coming up.
You also have an airstrike left.
I keep forgetting about the airstrike. Let's just turn off the labels and see who do we want to... This guy. Again, my RNG is just ridiculous. Fun fact from our development, that's that the AI do its thing, is that I've made a few bug reports because I have so bad RNG that I tend to think the game is bugged, but then it turns out it isn't. Yeah. Or I'm just finding someone to blame. I don't know, or something to blame.
as a marketing person and a janitor, I would just like to make this clear that the game is performing fine in every aspect, and there's nothing wrong about it.
No.
It just keeps getting better and better.
So, when you have an enemy headquarters and you're able to, so you can't attack them like units. You can run them over. It costs 3 movement points, I think. So if you have a unit, this guy over here, he doesn't have 3 movement points. To if you move here, so he can't kill that headquarters essentially. But luckily, we have some other units that do. There goes the Africa Corps.
So what happened then?
Basically, we killed the enemy headquarters. It will give.
There was a lot of text.
There was a lot of text.
Yeah.
We basically, you killed the headquarters, so we ruined all his the branches in the headquarters. It's a bit complicated to explain. Basically, we really screwed him over. That would be the technical definition.
Technical term.
I think, really.
Thank you.
But let's just finish up this level because we have basically won, except our tanks are behind. So let's up and these guys. We're not going to move them all. We don't need them. Let's just throw in this. And let the AI try. It doesn't have much to work with anymore.
Oh, so you say
Yeah, this
it's counterattack.
attacking with the 3-step Italian division.
Well, that's bravery right there.
It's bravery, but it's. I was probably saying about that. Let's see. Actually, I didn't need to kill that. I need to kill this guy. It's actually going to be
It's the last turn?
Yes, the last turn, but it'll succeed. It will succeed. It's going to be bloody. Oh my god, I just lost the division. This is what we found out in the last stream. In the last stream, that talking and playing at the same time for me is like it's really. There we go. Don't worry. It's all under control. It's this is fine meme is running right now. So that was the last objective. We have basically won. Let's just make sure that the AI doesn't do anything silly, like break through our lines and just get that running again. And my voice. Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Well, congratulations.
But apparently I won.
Brilliant. Did you
victory.
just win?
Yes. Pay no attention to what you see behind the
the glitch?
picture
Yeah.
screen. That doesn't matter.
We totally didn't use any of the cheats that.
No.
We don't have those.
We don't have any debug modes.
This is
or
pure
log
skill?
modes or pure skill, of course.
Victory.
That's
well
how I got
deserved.
my job. That's the skill.
So amazing. Brilliant victory, you say.
Brilliant. Jesus.
Okay.
So we're back to the campaign. We completed Wadi Akarit, and we're on to Tunis, the next scenario. Sadly, because we have a crash, we won't see that unit.
What crash?
What crash? I don't know.
I haven't seen
I'm
anything.
speaking insanity.